Hello guys, today we will be reviewing each and every sword in the game because the update is coming soon and it's important to know the features of them before they get a bunch of new features. So yeah, be familiar with the basic ones and please join my Discord server. We explain a lot of stuff there about the game and help with trading and stuff. And yeah, let's start now. Our first sword is Katana. I don't need to review this. The moves suck, it will never be good. Now we have Cutlass, it's the same thing as Katana. Okay, now we have Dual Katana. The damage sucks, but the moves are decently easy to land. They're really not that easy to land. This sword is trash, but for a common it's quite good. Okay, for our first uncommon sword, we have twin hooks. I know this isn't a sword, it's hooks, but who cares? This sword, honestly, it should be at least rare, maybe legendary, because first move, it's like super easy to land, and it does 4,700 damage with no damage buff except Buso. And the prehistoric punt, it's quite easy to land and does 4,900 damage. That is crazy. But the other uncommon swords do not do that much damage. Okay, now we have Triple Katana. It's trash. In my opinion, it's even more trash than like Dual Katana because the moves are harder to land. Yeah, literally just harder to land. Okay, now we have Shark Saw. Shark Saw is actually a very cool sword, but it's quite trash. The Z move is trash, but the X... Wait, it does 4,400 damage though. That's nice. And the X move though, it's not trash because you can drag your opponent and combo extend, and its damage is quite good. 4,700 to be clear. So yeah, it's not like that bad of a sword, but it's kind of trash. But it's good for an uncommon. Okay, for our last uncommon sword, honestly I thought there were more, but we have Iron Mace. This is trash. This should be a common sword. The last M1 does this, but does barely any damage. Mace Smash, it sucks, you're never landing this. Killer Combo, I mean, what's the point of doing this? I mean, it does decent damage, but just use something better. Okay, now for our rare swords, we're starting with the Warden sword. Now this sword, by itself, it should be a common. It is complete garbage, but it has a utility move. The multi-target slash. I won't tell you why it's useful, but it's useful for glitches, okay? I won't show you the glitches. Now the moves suck. You're never landing Tornado Slash. And multi-target slash, it's just a small AoE that does decent damage, so just don't use this sword. Okay, now we have Trident. Now Trident is a sword that I thought would be better than it is, but it's not. For PvP, you are never, believe it or not, you're never gonna land Trident Throw, even though it does good damage and pulls. It's quite useful, but you're never gonna land it, bro. And now the Water Pulse, this is the move you're gonna land, but it's not that good, not that useful, just nothing special, but deals good enough damage. Okay, now we have our Soul Cane. This is the sword you're gonna want to use if you want to use like a skilled Acidum rifle and superhuman build, because it just fits it the best and is skilled. Now you have the Soul Beam. Nothing special, it freezes your opponent for a decent time, and that's the move you want to use, only that move, because the other move you have is Soul Slashes, and it's useless if you're not a sword main, but as a sword main it does good damage actually, and is a combo extender, I guess it can be. But yeah, Soul Cane not that good, but is used for skilled builds. Now we have Kite. This sword for beginners, I mean, it's decent, but as a rare sword, it is complete trash. It should be uncommon. You have the Pipe Ignition. This does decent damage and is like very hard to land. And then you have your Dragon Blast. But when are you even gonna use this though? It does good enough damage, but you're not gonna land that in normal PvP. So yeah, pipe not that good. For first C, it's decent, but not in third C. Okay, now we have the long sword. This sword is absolutely beautiful and well made, but it's useless for PvP, okay? Like annihilate, short range, slash, it's useless, does nothing special except decent damage. And the glorious smash, same thing, useless but good damage. Now we have Jite. Please tell me I'm pronouncing it right. It's an okay sword for usefulness, not for sword main, because you're never gonna land the smoke leopard move. Okay, I was like, how did it deal 10,000 damage, bruh? Okay, because there were 2 NPCs. The first move does good damage, 5,100. That's really good damage, but you're not landing this really. It's fast, but it's cantricable. Then you have your smoke apparition. You know what? I don't care. It's useful for mobility, but you're never gonna just be landing this on someone. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's useful, but not good for sword main. Okay, now we have Gravity Cane as a rare sword. This should be at least a legendary, even maybe a mythical. Oh, hello Nugget, hi. You have your first move. This thing is insanely useful. You can literally just pull your opponent and do some crazy combo which they cannot escape. And then you finish it with Lunar Blitz, which does 5,500 damage. That is insane. So yeah, I really recommend getting this sword when you're at 2nd C from Faita boss, because it is very good. Alright, next we have Dual-Headed Blade. This sword is complete garbage. It should be a common. You have Assassinate. You're never gonna land this in PvP. Then you have Raging Wind. You see that damage. If you just do it like that without being close, it does 1,400 damage, but while being close, it does 4,300. So that's good, but this sword is trash. Never use it, don't buy it in first C. Okay, now we have Dragon Trident, the best sword in the game as a rare sword. This should definitely be a mythical, bruh. I don't know why this is a rare, but whatever. The developers a bit messed up, but okay. Sea Dragon Fury. This is insanely easy to land and does really good damage actually. And then you have just your Water Dragon Shower. You just do this and they're stunned. They're stuck there, bruh. And it deals really good damage too. This sword is insanely useful and insanely good as a sword main. So you use it for everything and it's gonna work. You just spam with this and your opponent's dead. Okay, for the first legendary sword, it is Yama. This sword definitely should be a legendary. I can't argue with that, but it's not that good. It's really useful. Like, Infernal Hurricane is useful for shadow combos and stuff, but the moves are kind of hard to land, but they are really cool. The effects are insane, bro. I love this sword because the effects are so good. Like, Hellish Slash is really fast, but the hitbox is super small. But it can hit multiple opponents, as you could have seen, and does good damage. Infernal Hurricane, it's not that good. Just a hurricane, you know what I mean? Okay, now for the second legendary sword, we have Wando. Now, this sword should be an uncommon or a rare sword because it is trash, okay? Why did the devs make it this bad? Like, okay, continuous slashing. It does really good damage, but it is completely useless. Useless, okay? And you can just use it for combo extend. No, only ending. Well, barely extending. I don't know, man. Then you use Dragon Gust. It does good damage, but not 9,000. That's because I hit 2 NPCs. It's really hard to land, just like continuous slashing. I never recommend using this sword or getting it, but you might want to get it for TTK. Now we have Tushita. Oh my gosh, words cannot express how much I love this sword. Basically, the first move, you can either hold it or do it instant. If you hold it, it does a bunch of damage, but you need to be close. If you just let it go like this, it has really good range and precision and does okay damage. Let me just show you the full move. You just do this. It's really good for combo starting and extending and ending perhaps. And then you have your Celestial Ravager. This move is beautiful, but you can only use it for extending or ending. More likely ending. So, as you can see, this is beautiful and it does good damage, I guess. So yes, I do recommend using this sword. Okay, now Spikey Trident. This is probably one or the most useful sword in the game, not because of the Dough Hurricane. This move you only want to use it if you're a sword main, and it's good for combo extending and ending. But the move you do want to use is Flying Trident Pull. It is exactly what you think it is, a long range pull move that's actually good and you can use for starting, extending. A really good move, I love it. Okay, now we have Shisui. This sword, I'm not gonna say it shouldn't be a legendary, but it requires skill to use. Its first move, it's like an instant slash, like mid-range move. It's easy to land if your opponent has Ken broken, but if not, you can just dodge it super easily. It's good for combo extending, and as you can see, the hitbox is quite small. Then you have your focus shot. This thing is insanely fast, guys, okay? So you just snipe him like this and it does good enough damage. And it's good for combo starting and extending and ending, actually. So yeah. Okay, now we have Shark Anchor. This is one of the newest swords added to the game, and it is brain dead if you're sword main. It's quite useless if you're not though. So you have your Typhoon Toss. You can hold it and it'll do this thing, and then you let it go and does big explosion that can hit multiple enemies, and it does really good damage. Then you have your Armor Breaker. This move has a special feature, also it does good damage, and its special feature is that if you hit a fruit with a defense buff, it will ignore some of its defense. It's quite useless but cool feature. Okay, now we have Saudi. Saudi, a lot of people like this sword, but sadly I don't. Okay, I'm not a fan of the sword dance. The effects are really nice, but it's super short range. I will show you when the cooldown is done. Then you have your True Air Slash. This move is like very fast and beautiful effects, but very easy to dodge actually. So yeah, let me just show you the sword dance range. You see, that's really bad range, but when you do land Saudi moves, it is really good. Oh yes, now we have Saber. Some people think this should not be a legendary sword, but it should be because of its damage. This single move, look, not 9,000, but it can deal a lot. Let me just show you on a single NPC. Wait. Yeah, 8,000 damage. Now this is insane for combos, but without stunning your opponent, it's practically impossible to land the full critical hit with this. And even just the Saber moves alone, they're hard to hit, very hard to hit. So I understand why people think this should be like a rare sword, but its damage compensates. Okay, now we have Rengoku. This used to be the highest damaging sword, but now it's Saber. First move, you have this. Boom. It does good damage, 5600, and is extremely easy to land. The last part of the move is unkentrickable, so yeah, it's 100% landable, and this can only be used as a combo ender. Then you have your Burning Slash. There's two versions of this. There's this normal version, which deals very good damage, but there's also another version. If you hold it, let me just show you when the cooldown is done. You have this version. This one deals even better damage and has big AoE, but I never recommend using it. It's hard to land. Okay, now we have Pole Second Form. This sword used to be the most meta sword in the entire game because it was so useful, but now it kind of is forgotten. It's still good though. Its first move does 3 projectile beam stuff that stun. It's basically like Soul Cane Z but with 3 projectiles instead of 1. And then you have your Electric Prison. This looks very good, but sadly it's slightly knockbacks now, so it's not a very good like combo starter anymore, but it's still good, guys. Okay, now we have the Pole First Form. I have no idea why Pole Second Form and Pole First Form, they're both on the same category, legendaries. They should not be. This sword sucks. It's trash. This should be an uncommon or rare sword. Uncommon. First move, Explosive Cloud. When are you gonna land this? Never. Then you have Lightning Rain. It's trash. Okay, just don't use it. Okay, now we have Midnight Blade. This sword is very cool. So you have your Z move, which allows you to do a bunch of stuff. This can be used for combo extending, but it's kind of hard to combo extend with this sword. Both of the moves here, they're combo extenders, by the way. So second move, Crescent Dash. Basically, like you dash and deal 5000 damage. And then they push back a little, but you can still extend. For this sword, I'm gonna use Control because it has a special feature with it. It's actually the only sword in the game that synchronizes well with a fruit, you know what I mean? So as its base moves, you have your Electric Stab. It's decent and its damage is decent. Just do 9600 divided by 2, that's its damage. Then you have Injection Shot. Boom. Decent damage too. I mean, it's good damage. But then you open your control area. Then the Electric Stab move range increases by a bunch. Yup. By the way, the moves of this sword are mainly used to spam and stuff. And then you have your Injection Shot. This move has infinite range as long as your opponent is in the room. So it's an instant move you can just use randomly and it'll deal good damage. By the way, both of the moves deal the exact same damage. Just a funny fact about this sword. Okay, now we have Fox Lamp. For me, this is like the second best sword in the game. I mean third best, because it's really useful and really good for sword main. You have your Scorching Azure. This doesn't stun, but it doesn't allow your opponent to move. And as you can see, it does insanely good damage. Just like, look, they're barraged in that thing and oh, okay, it does less damage than I thought because this NPC got hit too. Okay, but it has really good range and does good damage. It's good for combo starting and extending and ending. And then you have your Infernal Storm. There's two versions of this. The first one where you just dash and do the thing I just did. And then the other version, let me wait a bit. Oh, wait. Then you have the version where you hold it and it does this big thing and then you dash, and that one does more damage, but I recommend just using the first version. Okay, now we have the Dark Dagger. I don't know why this is a legendary sword. It just sucks, okay? I'm gonna make a lot of people mad, but this sucks, okay? Proficient Impale. good enough damage, but you're never landing this. And then Shaming Slash, very good damage, but you're never gonna land this. Can Vendor. This sword is one of these swords who just haven't been reworked for some reason, and it's still beautiful. I understand why it hasn't been reworked. So first move, piercing dash. Okay, it's basically like Shisui Z. Yeah, basically just that, but with like more damage. Look, yeah, basically the same thing. And then you have Scattering Gust. It pushes you and then you do that. Actually, the effects are not that good. Yeah, this needs a rework. Now we have Buddy Sword. This sword is a special sword for skilled people that are sword main. It's not useful. So first move, oh, by the way, this hasn't been reworked either. First move, Heat Slash. Good range move that does very good damage. And yeah, very good damage. Then you have your Lightning Wave. This move, the longer, like the farther you are from your opponent, the more damage it does. Let me just show you once more if I can aim correctly. Wait a minute. I don't think I'm gonna be able to aim this. Oh, you see, that dealt more damage because I was further away. Finally, we have our last legendary sword, the Bicento. This actually got a really good rework, but it's still not that good. The only good move is the Windbreaker, which sends 3 slashes and deals very good damage, 5,400. Then you have your Quake Sphere. You're never gonna land this in the air, but on the ground, it's quite good, deals 5,000 damage and good for combo starting. Yeah, so decent sword. Now for our first mythical sword, very hard to get, true Triple Katana. Now the M1s on this sword, they're special because they can fling you far and you can use them to actually move around. This was really the meta before, but now no one really does it, just fun fact. First move, Wolf Fang Rush, really beautiful move. Basically you dash, oh my gosh, why does it do that? Okay, so you dash and it deals good damage. It deals 5,200 damage, not 10,400. And then you have your Dragon Hurricane, which is really easy to land and deals 5,700 damage. Now we have Hollow Scythe. I have no idea why this is a mythical sword. It didn't even get reworked. Why? I do not know. It should be a rare sword, not gonna lie. So you have your Death Cyclone. I mean, it's cool and all, does good damage, but you're not gonna really land this in PvP. Not really, but you can. It's not that good. The closer you are, the more damage it does. Now the Soul Execution. You're never gonna land this without a combo, honestly. And by the way, if you're lower than 50% HP, this move does more damage. Oh no, it's if your opponent is lower. So yes, let me test. Yeah, now it deals 5,600. So it's quite a decent move, but it's not that good. Okay, now we have my favorite sword, the Dark Blade. Just look how beautiful this is, bro. The white Dark Blade. The M1s are nothing special. Then you have 1,000 slices. Oh, that was the held version. You see, if you slightly hold it, you can dash with it. And if you don't hold it, it just does like a barrage of slashes, which is really good for combo starting and extending. Then you have the Dark Air Slash. This move, it's very fast if you hold it, and it's really good for combo extending. Now let me show you the version where you hold it. It's extremely fast. Be ready, guys. So held version, see how fast that is, bro? Yeah, so really cool sword, and it shouldn't really be a mythical, but I don't mind. It's really cool. Okay, now we have Cursed Dual Katana, our last sword. And it's a mythical, of course. I think this should be the definition of a mythical, because not gonna lie, all the mythical swords except this one shouldn't really be a mythical. But first move, you have Revolving Ravager. You can hold this, and when you let it go, just does a tornado that deals really good damage. As you can see, the full held version, it deals 6,800 damage. Let's do it again. You see that? 6,800. That's crazy. Then you have the Slayer of Goliath. Now let me show you this. Slayer of Goliath. You can go super far with this, and it does 6,000 damage if held. So it's an insane sword overall. Alright guys, that was all for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully it wasn't too long for you guys, and if I missed some features about some swords, you can tell me. I probably knew them, I just forgot. But yeah, bye guys.